All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Good evening and welcome to this Tuesday, November 4th, 2025 meeting of the Raymore Planning and Zoning Commission. If you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excellent. We'll go through roll call. Oh my golly. We'll do roll call. There we go. Commissioner Parker.
Present.
Commissioner Shanks.
Present.
Commissioner Townsend.
Present.
Commissioner Harrison.
Here.
Chairman Wiggins is here. Vice Chair Pfizer.
Present.
Secretary Smith.
Present.
Commissioner Kia.
Present.
Mayor Turnbow.
Present.
Full board. Wonderful. Thank you everybody for being here tonight. We have no personal appearances scheduled, so we'll move on to item 5, the consent agenda. One item, item A, the approval of minutes from the October 7th, 2025 meeting. I would entertain a motion to dispose of this item, please.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kia, second by Mayor Turnbow to to approve the minutes from the October 7th, 2025 meeting. Any discussion of the item? Seeing none, all in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Opposed and abstentions. Perfect. 801. Thank you, sir. No unfinished business this evening, so moving right along into new business. Item 7. We have one item. Item A. Case number 25036. 1012 South Madison Street rezoning R1 to RE. This does require a public hearing, which I will open now at 6:02 p.m. And with that, I would turn to either city staff or the applicant for presentation.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair, as well as members of the commission for being here tonight. Before you have a planning application for a property addressed 1012 South Madison Street. This project was brought to us by the applicant Christopher Oakes. He is also the property owner. This property is described as Lot 63 of Dutchman Acres. It is currently zoned R1 single family residential, and the proposed zoning is RE Rural Estate District. The reason for this rezoning application is that the owner is intending to build an accessory structure on the property that exceeds the allowed height in an R1 district of the principal structure, so the home. This accessory structure, how it's been explained, will likely be a few feet taller than the earth contact house that's there on the property. And so without doing some sort of rezoning process to a district that is probably in more alignment with how the property has developed, it would be not allowed to happen. He has gone through a few different requests with the engineer on the project about whether or not he can get a roof pitch low enough to meet that requirement, but they had some concerns about the loads that it would be able to hold if it was too flat of a slope and that sort of thing. So there's been some other investigating going on. The property itself is 4.5 acres in size and consists of one lot. It was annexed into the city back in 1990. The development pattern of this lot as well as the properties around it are pretty consistent. They are multiple acre lots. Usually more than 3 acres in size. They have all of those lots, whether they're annexed into the city or they are outside of the city boundary. Those lots, some of them do have structures on them that are taller than the principal structures. So the nature of what is being asked, not only the zoning district change, we feel is reasonable, as well as eventually this accessory structure and just kind of the general characteristics and makeup of the surrounding properties seem to be pretty consistent. And for a staff recommendation, as mentioned before, the characteristics of the subject property are consistent with the development standards that are described in the RE Residential Estate Zoning District. So staff is recommending that the Planning and Zoning Commission accept the findings of fact on case 25036, 1012 South Madison Street rezoning, and forward the recommendation to the City Council, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, sir. Do any members of the commission have any questions? I've got one ever so small question, and it's probably more of a comment just because I know the future planning of the city. Obviously, at 4.5 acres, that's not a traditional R1 lot, and none of us were around in 1990 for this particular situation. As we look forward, I would assume that we would try to closely align existing sizes of properties because that should have been RE or something, ag or something at the time, not R1, but that was 35 years ago.
Yeah, and there's not really clear record that we were able to uncover when looking back at the annexation. We do know that when it was annexed, it was designated as the R1, but there's no real documentation of why that
yeah.
R1 was chosen. There were probably other districts at the time that would have been a little bit more suitable. However, they went with the R1, and there wasn't any like paper trail of that decision necessarily. We would have liked to provide some more background of how we even got to that in the first place.
No, and
We
that's
did
fine.
look
It's
for
more
that,
of
but-
just I know in a perfect world there will be similar situations that occur, and I hope
Sure.
that we don't have to come back to this moment. Not that it's a major issue by any means, just an inconvenience to the property owner.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Mr. Shanks.
When would the city recommend that maybe a half acre of the 4.5 acre be still designated R1 for the house, but then the rest of the property that'd be like subdivided and zoned separately? When would that maybe be the more feasible or better approach? Or would that not be what we would ever recommend as a city?
I don't know how much in the past, before I've gotten here, like split zoning a property would have been a
Okay.
preferred practice. If the applicant was, for some reason, desired to split the property off, then I think you could look at separate zoning districts, but without that request being made, I don't know if we would necessarily
Prefer it?
require them
Okay.
to make a decision like that. I mean, it always could be considered, but I don't know that we would necessarily kind of move it in that direction without some sort of potential interest in that occurring. Like if there was an interest where somebody wanted to subdivide the lot to build another home on it, since there is kind of quite a bit of space on that one lot. Now they are in a subdivision, a platted subdivision that may have some sort of covenants on the land that says lots cannot be any smaller than whatever, maybe it's 4.5 or maybe it's 4, I don't know. So they would still have that they would have to be kind of following as well. So, but I don't think we would typically do a split zoning on a single property, and unless the applicant needed to subdivide it and requested that, we probably wouldn't also kind of steer it in that direction either.
Okay, thank you.
In a case like this, for instance, so.
Perfect. Any other questions or comments from the commission? Oh, Mr. Urquía. Oh, Commissioner Urquía. I saw your hand first. Sorry.
So I was just curious with this, it makes more sense to do the RE over to do like an exception, because if we do an exception, we're setting the precedent that other R1s could then request the same type of thing, and we're in a sense trying to avoid that, by the same time taking into consideration the size of the lot and what they're requesting. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I think also, kind of a previous comment that was made earlier was, really when you look at this property and how it was developed, it really probably should have been in a zoning district that is more in line with what RE allows. It fits perfectly within our RE zoning district. I don't know that was necessarily set up that way back in 1990. However, when we're looking at the zoning district standards, it's a cleaner way of getting this property kind of properly zoning designated and allowing them to develop it in the future in a manner that's consistent with the area. So probably just a little bit better way to handle it versus doing a single exception.
Perfect. Yeah, and that way you don't lay the groundwork for something else that we wouldn't potentially want to encounter. Sir, Mr. Townsend.
Awesome, thank you. I think in your report, you made a comment regarding the size. Granted, we're speaking specifically on the zoning request this evening, but related to the rezoning request, your comments regarding the accessory dwelling size, roof line, I guess it was, would be higher potentially on the initial scope than the primary residency, because it's a subterranean home, I believe, from what I remember seeing. Is it a combination of both? The primary residence style of home is the reason for the rezoning, or is it just because they were wanting to do an accessory dwelling is what's necessary?
It's I guess probably more of the accessory building request and its height. and that it's an earth contact home, so that roof line is just kind of closer to the ground from where we would measure it at.
So had it been a traditional home?
If it was like a two-story home, it probably would have been fine, but because of the existing home that's on it, we would measure based off of the height of that kind of ridge line there,
Okay.
looking at the proposed structure, and if that proposed structure in an R1 district is taller, we wouldn't be able to permit that building.
So the accessory dwelling that's being proposed, separate from this, it's still within the accessory dwelling code from size and scope for the property?
Under the RE designation, it would be.
Okay. Awesome,
Yes.
Awesome, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. Any additional questions or comments? If not, I would entertain a motion to dispose of this item, please.
Chairman,
Sir, Mr. Urquilla.
I would like to go ahead and
We
make.
have a public
A
hearing.
public
Oh,
hearing.
public
Oh, I am
hearing, yes,
so
that's
sorry.
right.
Thank you for the correction. It even says it right here. Next time I need a big
Even opened
sign.
it.
I did open it at 6:02. Correct. This is a public hearing. At this time, I would welcome any members of the public that wish to comment on this particular case to please come forward, please provide your name, address for the record, and provide comments within about a 5-minute period. If anybody would like to come forward, please do so now. Sir. Sorry, I apologize for skipping over that. I thank you for the correction.
Yes, my name's Christopher Oakes. I'm the property owner. I could probably actually address some of the questions that had come up. The Dutchman Acres in general has a 3-acre minimum for their plot sizes on all of their properties. The primary reason for it is because we and I believe 2 other properties in the Dutchman Acres area are attached to the sewer. Everybody else has septic tanks, and it's 3 acres are required minimum for septic tanks. So very few of the people in Dutchman Acres and across the street and all the surrounding areas would be able to go under 3 acres. So subdividing it without like a major, like basically buying everybody out probably isn't an option. As far as I understand it, one of the reasons why it was originally zoned R1 is because that was the default for the paperwork. When my father-in-law, it was a horse field before, whenever he built the property off of his father's land, that he attached the sewer and was annexed. And that was the default for the paperwork, and he didn't think anything else of it. I really can't answer a lot more details on that since he's passed since then. So whenever we started this with the building, which we're only looking at between 17 to 20 feet is the size of our building, but our earth contact's only 15 feet. The structural engineers have said that they don't feel comfortable recommending a roof pitch less than 412 in order to actually take care of snow loads and satisfy like safety concerns. And also it would require an extra foot if we were to have a basement in the building for storage. So both of those requirements would put it above the 15 foot, which is why we started looking at either an exception or rezoning. But then once we started looking at the RE, we're like, okay, we're over 3 acres. We have gravel driveway, long gravel driveways, multiple people around the area, and across our street and in Dutchman Acres have multiple driveway entrances. We've got barbed wire on the fence, which is typical for everybody around us, and the fact that most people in the subdivision have septic tanks instead of sewer, as well as they have their accessory buildings already in multiple cases, sometimes a horse farm or whatnot, but all these things would fall under their rural estate that think it should have been originally zoned as RE, it just, something with the paperwork went through whenever, my father-in-law had filled it out, so. Was there any other questions you had for me, or?
Sure. Miss- yeah.
I have a question for the city. When would we say, like, we would want to apply that RE zoning to the subdivision, or would we ever recommend doing something like that?
The rest of the subdivision is not a part of the city of Raymore, so it would be if they were to annex. That's why I made the statement of,
I got it.
obviously, they would make their due diligence
Yeah,
at that time, but.
the neighbor who's north of us, which is the only other one in Dutchman Acres that's in the city limits, is actually zoned agriculture. And they actually have less land than us, but they were zoned before the 10-acre minimum was put in place a few years ago.
Very good. Awesome. Anybody have any additional questions for the applicant? Awesome. Thank you for all that additional information. That's very helpful.
Thank you.
Awesome. Anybody else, any additional comments for the public hearing? All right. I will go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:16. And with that, now appropriately timed, I will entertain a motion to dispose of this item. Mr. Urquhart, would you like to continue with your motion?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion that the commission accept the findings of fact for case number 25036, 1012 South Madison Street rezoning, and forward it to the city council with the recommendation for approval.
Thank you. All right. I have a motion by Commissioner Kia, second by Commissioner Shanks for the Planning and Zoning Commission to accept the findings of fact of case number 25036, 1012 South Madison Street rezoning, and forward the recommendation to the City Council. Any discussion of the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? That will pass unanimously, 9-0. Thank you very much. All right, moving right along to Mr. Zer for our City Council report. Sir.
Thank you, Chairman Wiggins. Since the last time you all met, there have been two city council meetings, one that occurred on Monday, October 13th, the second one October 27th, where legislative actions were commenced. During the course of, the main one that would be of interest for the commission would be the Raymore Commerce Center South First and Final Plat, Lot 1. This is the Raymore Commerce Center just south of 195th Street, creating a single lot and 3 common area tracts for private roads and stormwater detention facilities. You all had the opportunity to review this at the October 7th, 2025 meeting and approved it unanimously. It received a similar vote at the city council level. In addition to that, on both meetings, we had a first and second reading of the annual budget, which has now been adopted by the city council. So the city is now operating under its fiscal year 2026 city budget, and public hearings have taken place on that and have received final approval. So the city is in a good place moving forward with a budget in hand. I don't have anything further to share with the commission this evening. Obviously, Mr. Gress and staff, as well as Mayor Turnbow, may want to supplement that report.
Nothing from either?
I'm good.
Very good. Thank you, sir. I'll move on to staff report, and I'll start with Mr. Grass.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple things to note for the commission. I emailed you all a copy of the department report, so apologies again for not getting that into the original packet. A couple things I just want to highlight. We did finish October, which is generally the end of our busy season, it seems like, with 23 permits, which brings our calendar year to 147 new homes that we built this year. The month of October, those were issued in the Madison Valley, Wood Creek of the Good Ranch, and Eastbrook and Cunningham subdivisions. So again, kind of spread across the entire city. A couple of meetings I wanted to kind of give you all a heads up on. Tonight's case will make its way to the city council towards the end of November with your all's recommendation. This week, though, we have a couple of meetings I wanted to make you all aware of, specifically tomorrow. The first meeting is going to be, I think I shared at our last meeting, we had presented some information to our city council at a work session about building design standards and neighborhood regulations. So the council had directed staff to hold a informational meeting with builders in the community and developers. And so tomorrow from 3 to 5, we'll have that open house here in the council chambers. So we've got some informational boards that we'll put up and just trying to collect some feedback that we can share with the council. Obviously, if we do receive the direction to proceed forward, you all would see that in the future as a UDC amendment, more than likely in 2026. The second item tomorrow would be for an application for rezoning that you all will see at your November 18th meeting. It's a requested rezoning of approximately 60 acres of land within the Good Ranch. It's directly east of buildings 1 and 2 and the Raymore Commerce Center. That applicant is requesting to rezone the property from agricultural to a business park plan district for the purposes of constructing a very similar building of what is across the street. And so more information to be shared about that project tomorrow night at 6, if any of you all are interested. And again, that will appear before you all as a public hearing on November 18th at our next meeting. So that concludes staff report. We're happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Gress and his department? Thank you. Mr. Perry, anything from you, sir?
Thank you, sir. I have two quick updates for you. The first one is on the reconstruction of Kurzwell Road. Preliminary design will be back to us next week, and that's still on track for reconstruction midsummer. And then the Dean Access modification plans were received today, and we'll be ready to go out for bid with that here in the near future. And that's it for today. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Anybody have any questions for Public Works? Very good. Moving along to public comment. Any members of the public? We always welcome comments at the end of our meetings if anybody has anything that they would like to share. All right, seeing none, we'll move into commission member comments. I'm just going to start all the way at my far end with Commissioner Parker.
I just want to thank everyone for your time and all of the effort you put into the report. Appreciate you.
I'm just going to move right along. Commissioner Shanks.
Echoing what Commissioner Parker said, and then I just wanted to shout out our police department. I had the pleasure of doing a tour with just getting to look through the dispatch office and the different holding cells and stuff with a tour of young boys that part of like a kind of like a basically Boy Scout troop, and I just was really impressed with the level of professionalism and just like how the different police officers were engaging and friendly, and I just thought, wow, I kind of had this impression in my mind that if I was told that a bunch of like elementary boys were going to be coming through my place of work, how I would feel, and it was not perceived that way at all. So just really appreciate the group that we have here in Raymore.
Thanks, sir. Commissioner Townsend.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to echo my fellow commissioners and thank staff for the excellent work you put in behind the scenes and working with our citizens to put things before us to make our jobs a lot easier and go smoothly, as we are ending the evening pretty quickly this evening on something that obviously the resident has been planning on and working with for months. So thank you again for all the work that you do and the staff within the city. So thank you. Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Harrison, sir.
I'd like to say thank you to the staff as always, and also thank you, Chairman Wiggins, for running a smooth, efficient meeting.
There was a hiccup.
every
Don't.
time we're here.
I had a little hiccup there.
But that's it.
Thank you, Vice Chair Pfizer.
I'd like to thank staff, and I'd also like to thank you for showing up so I didn't have to run the meeting. I want to send a shout out to our Parks Department. Lately, my husband and I have been trying to run, which is not something I do, but we've been going to the different parks to do it so that it makes it more of an event. And the parks are great. It's like I didn't realize just how developed the pathways were and everything. So if you haven't had a chance to do that, go out, just take a walk around the paths. They're really, really nice.
Thank you. Secretary Smith.
Again, appreciate all the work you guys do and getting the packets and everything out. And then on this particular case, it seemed like you guys just took kind of like a common sense approach to the rezoning and just a best fit situation, take all the history out of it. And so I appreciate that. The community appreciates that. So,
Commissioner Kia, sir.
Echoing the gratefulness of the staff and everything you guys do. It always is helpful when you guys know and put the packets together like you do for us, so it's easier to know what we need to do and what we're talking about. And echoing Commissioner Pfizer's comments on our paths, they are wonderful. Someone who does walk quite a bit, and the redone paths as well, especially like at Memorial Park, are appreciated and keep us safe. So thank you.
Mayor Turnbow, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Wiggins. And by the way, the comments that you receive, I get them too when I mess up at the chair. So
It's okay. I fully
feel
deserve it.
I feel it too. The one thing I did want to bring up tonight is that on October the 23rd, my wife and I were host to Vice Chair Pfizer and her husband, Robert Berry. They were co-recipients of the Missouri Municipal League's Westgate Civic Leadership Awards. Once a year, we recognize folks within our community have contributed greatly to our success. And we really believe both her and Robert have been outstanding volunteers that, gosh, I know the pay is pretty high, but yeah, right. There's that, right? No, seriously though, I don't know that we could have in one family asked for a more model of a volunteer that really does care about our community in all aspects and promotes Raymore everywhere they go. And we really appreciate and thank you, Vice Chair Pfizer, for all you do. And please let Robert know as well, since he's not here this evening, but, oh, okay. Anyway, I just wanted to pass that along. It was a great event. All the communities in the area pick one volunteer. Between the two of them, we couldn't pick, so we brought both of them with us. So it was nice. Yeah, you are. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you to city staff as always for everything that you do. Commissioner Shanks mentioned the police department. Quick shout out as well. I noticed on Halloween, at least in our neighborhood, we had a particular officer that was making her way through the neighborhood with bags of candy and stopping at some of the popular houses in different corners and stuff and handing out candy to kids, and the kids were all running up. So it was really nice to see her in the community. Additionally, Mr. Perry, thank you for, after meetings, you've been keeping me updated on, curb replacements and street lights and whatever, and I appreciate all that you do. It's nice. We have finally a new curb approach to my house after picking up chunks of concrete for years. So thank you to Public Works for working with their contractor to get all that taken care of. And they did I was really worried actually on the 30th. We get a lot of trick-or-treaters on our particular block, and they rip out those concrete curbs. There's big pits, and on Thursday night there were deep open pits full of water, and by Friday morning they were all full of concrete, coned off, taped off, and I didn't at least hear of any incidents. So a lot of people around my house were concerned that kids would fall in running around like crazy maniacs, but I think everything ended up perfect. So with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn and wish everybody a wonderful evening.
So moved.
I got a motion by Commissioner Kia, second by Commissioner Townsend. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of adjournment? We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a nice night.